Jungkook's POV. YN, I called out, but there was no response. How is it possible that YN doesn't come running and jump into my arms when I call her name? I smiled, thinking how childish she is. As I entered the kitchen, I noticed it was surprisingly clean. Normally it's a mess when she cooks, I thought to myself. Feeling a bit concerned, I hurried to our room as I pushed the door open to check on her. And there she was, sleeping on the bed, all cozily covered. Today I returned home after being away for 2 weeks. I had to settle deals with other Mafia groups. YN, as always, wanted to come with me, but it would be dangerous to involve your wife in the dangerous affairs of the Mafia. So I refused to take her with me. At first she was upset, but later she understood. And now, after 2 weeks, when I finally returned home, excited to see her again. But there she is, fast asleep. Seeing her sleeping peacefully made me smile. I guess she has got her periods, I mumbled to myself, closing the door back and not disturbing her sleep. I guess I have to take care of her, so I ordered some hot soup, chocolate cake for her, and pizza for myself. I decided to take a bath while the food arrived. After my refreshing shower, I noticed that our food had been delivered. I sat down eating my pizza while working on my laptop. I then reheated YN's soup and packed it in an airtight bottle, just in case she woke up in the middle of the night and needed something to eat. Around 11 o'clock, after finishing all my work, I finally decided to go to bed. Before settling in, I made sure to place her soup and cake on the nearby table so that it is easily accessible for her. Quietly, I slipped under the covers, not wanting to wake her up. As I closed my eyes, I felt YN shivering beside me. Concerned, I tried to check what was wrong. I noticed she was crying and shivering in her sleep. Is she having a bad dream? I thought to myself. YN, relax, I'm right here, I said soothingly, gently rubbing her back. But she instantly panicked and pushed me away, getting up from her sleep in panic. I noticed her eyes were swollen and red, indicating that she had cried a lot. Worried, I asked her gently, YN, what happened? Upon hearing my voice, she looked at me for a moment, and then without a word, she tightly hugged me, burying her head in my chest. As I held her in my arms, she broke into loud, heartfelt cries. I gently stroked her back to calm her down. I couldn't understand what could be bothering YN so much. She's always been the cheerful one, and it's unusual for her to get sad or cry easily. She's always been so strong, and witnessing her like this today is driving me crazy with worry. I continued to hold her close, rubbing circles on her back and reassuring her with my presence. I wanted to ask her what was wrong, what was bothering her, but I couldn't. She was in pain, and I didn't want to trouble her by asking questions. YN, I'm right here beside you. Please tell me what's bothering my princess, I said gently, lifting her face to look into her eyes. Please, she begged, burying her face back in my chest. Okay, relax, I reassured her, pulling her into my lap, allowing her to feel safe and supported in my embrace. Everything was fine when we last talked this morning. She was happy, so what happened now? I thought to myself, confused and worried. YN, listen. You know you can share anything with me, no matter what, I said gently, rubbing her back. I will always stand by your side, no matter what happens, I added reassuringly. She gently lifted her head away from my chest, trying to compose herself. Today at college, Professor Jade called me into his office, and she began, but her emotions overwhelmed her, and she burst into sobs. He asked me to pull up my skirt and bend down on his table. She struggled to continue, trying to hold back her sobs. My jaws clenched and my fists tightened as I heard her words. The anger inside me was building like a volcano, but I tried my best to stay calm for her sake. When I tried to run away, he caught me by my hair and started kissing me forcefully, she said, with tears streaming down her face, and her head hung low in pain. He also bit me, she added, pulling down her sleeves to show me the mark on her shoulder. Hearing her, I lost all my control, and in a fit of anger, I picked up the lamp from the nearby table and shoved it on the floor. The sound of breaking startled her. She flinched in fear. Seeing her all curled up, I realized that my reaction had scared her. I immediately composed myself, regretting my outburst. I then gently reached out to hold her hands. "Everything is fine. You don't need worry about anything now," I told her, pulling her into a protective embrace. We sat there tightly embracing each other for a while. The more I tried to hold my anger, the more it kept bubbling inside me. I took a deep breath, trying to be calm as I asked, "Where were the bodyguards all this while?" "They were waiting outside the college campus." "It's not their fault," Yen said with her voice shaking. "I didn't tell them anything. When the professor—" She tried, but she could not speak all of it again. "I kicked the professor and ran into the car. The guards asked me why was I crying, but I didn't tell them anything. They have no fault. Please don't say anything to them," she pleaded, her head buried in my chest. "Yen, how many times have I told you to let the guards keep an eye on you?" "But you never listened to me," I said with frustration evident in my voice. She remained quiet, not saying anything. "And why didn't you tell the guards about that bastard?" I asked, raising my voice in anger. She kept her mum. "This was just a professor. What if other Mafia groups try to harm you?" I asked, with my anger escalating. She couldn't no longer sit and take my anger anymore, so she ran towards the bathroom, bursting into tears. "Did I overscold her? Of course I did. She's already going through so much. Why do I keep losing my temper on her? It's not her fault. It's all that bastard professor's fault," I thought to myself, feeling bad and regretful for my outburst. I tried running behind her, but she had already locked the bathroom door. "Yen, open the door, or I swear I will break it," I shouted, hitting on the door in frustration. But there was no response. Feeling worried about her safety, I started kicking the door with force until the lock broke. As I walked inside, I saw her sitting in the corner. "Baby," I said, holding her in my embrace. As we hugged, I noticed blood. When I checked, I found broken pieces of the lamp pierced in her foot. I carefully removed the pieces and cleaned her wound. She was still sad and sobbing, and I couldn't bear to see her like that. So I pulled her close and softly kissed her lips. She seemed surprised, but it didn't bother me. "Jungkook," she tried to talk amidst the kisses. "It's been 2 weeks without you, Wen, and I don't want to hold back anymore," I said, looking into her eyes. I could see her cheeks turning red at my words. Gently, I kissed her again, feeling a deep connection. I then pulled her dress down and carefully lifted her into the bathtub.
"It's a romantic night, just you and me, in each other's arms. We're wild and free, whispers of love in the sweet moonlight. Our souls ignite on this enchanting night. The stars above, they dance and play as we take each other's breath away. In this moment, time stands still. Lost in love's magic, I can't help but feel."
Yen was sleeping peacefully in my arms, and I didn't want to disturb her. However, I had to deal with Professor Jade. "Rock, please get me Professor Jade right away," I said into the phone. "If you are here wondering what happened to Professor Jade..."
Okay, so this was a one-shot Jungkook FF. I hope you liked it. Turn on the notifications for more such Jungkook FF. Hope you have a good day ahead. See ya. Bye-bye.